Mr. Mikal Clay, welcome to TCT
Hey,
Alive.
it's so glad. I'm so glad, and it's such a blessing to be here. Such a blessing to be here. You know,
Talk to us a little bit about, well, first of all, I want to back up because
Okay.
it's just so much to cover. I don't know,
Right.
I thought an hour would be too much, but an hour
Oh, no,
is
no.
not enough to talk about
Right.
our hair.
Right.
And needless to say, those of you who are looking, I'm having a bad hair day, so don't pay attention to that. But needless to say,
You're still having a healthy hair day.
thank you, Michael.
There's no such thing as bad hair when it's healthy.
Okay, see what I'm saying? The doctor's here. Listen, let's just go back because I read a bit of your bio.
Okay.
And someone gave you a pair of shears for your birthday.
Yeah, a pair of clippers.
A pair of clippers.
Yeah, they gave me, Barbara Slay, she gave me a pair of clippers for my 13th, it was 13th Christmas gift. And ever since then, I started cutting my little godson's hair, and he moved, so he had a little bald spot.
Okay,
But it's gone from there. I started cutting my hair, my friend's hair, my neighbor's hair, everyone's hair, and God bless my hands. Just the talent with hands. As a small kid, I was able to build things that people couldn't build. I was able to fix things people couldn't fix. And then it went into the hair industry. So I started out as a barber.
Okay.
I did the barbering, then I went into actual hairstyling. And all this was right before college.
Okay.
You know, I'm talking about high school age. And it's just turned into product development and to developing my own products for other companies, into having my own treatment line right now. So
now, you know, what I find amazing is that I love the statement you use is that these pair of clippers was prophetic.
It was.
Now, let's talk a little bit about
it. Was because, you know, the viewers don't know it, but I'm like 6'6". You know, I played basketball, I played sports. I didn't know I was going to be in the hair industry. Hair industry was you know, to me.
Yeah.
You know, and
it has
my
a bad
peers,
stigma, yeah.
Yeah, it has a stigma of people being ungodly. That's what I'll say. Well, guys.
Oh, right.
But the thing is you have to realize that God meets us at our level of expectation. And I've always just wanted to be the best.
Okay.
And a lot of times, you know, especially as young people, we shoot our goals too low. We want to say we want to have a B, or I even just want to have a, you know, and they get, when you get a B on a roll, you get the ribbon, you get all this great stuff for having a B. But a B says, hey, it's 80%, which means that I don't want to know 20% of what I'm supposed to know.
Okay.
So therefore, I realized that in wanting to be 100%, because 99.5 won't do.
Okay.
I wanted to be 100%. So that means not only being in the hair industry, but making a change. You know, changing the game, not just playing it, not being one of. I wanted to be one of the best, and that way, you know, I molded out of the hairstylist, because as a hairstylist, I got only bless one person at a time.
Okay.
But what I'm doing now, I'm blessing millions at one time, and this is what God wants me to do. And I felt so comfortable in the shoes of knowing what my purpose is, that God has just blessed me abundantly. And he's blessed everyone who's used my products abundantly with what they've looked for, and that's healthy hair.
Now, we're going to get to your products in just a minute. You had a chance to cut in the penal system.
Yeah, with the Department of Corrections. Well, in college, I started out pre-med, and I didn't like sick people, so I have a very extensive.
Now, how could you decide to even go into pre-med and?
Well, because, you know, really, I wanted to do it because it sounded good. You know, everybody wants to say they have a son who's pre-med or a lawyer or whatever.
Okay.
So, but I ended up I did an intern for criminal justice, and I did an intern at it was called Illinois Youth Center St. Charles. It was in Illinois, and I was asking, they offered me like 5 different jobs. I said, who's cutting their hair? He said, no, that's a contractual position. You know, you could be a this and be a that. I said, but no, who's cutting their hair? He said, well, that's a contractual position. So I said, well, how do you get a contract? They said, well, you know, normally the big boys get the contracts. So I did all my homework, find out what it took, the insurance, the licenses, and I got my own contract. I held the contract. So, and that was the largest youth home in Illinois.
Okay.
So from that one, I ended up with another one. So I did the 2. So at the age of 22 years old, between the ages of 22 and 25, I was responsible of 900 individuals myself. Just me.
Just you.
No help. Yeah, but
you know, that's a ministry by itself, although you're appealing to the masses. I think it's, as a woman, when we sit in our beautician's chair,
definitely,
that one-on-one, I'm sure you had a chance to encourage some brothers.
You know, in me encouraging them, I was encouraged and thankful, because, you know, we think of prison and we think of youth homes as all these real criminals, but everyone looked like me. You know, I mean, there were some people who I was just so thankful they were there, but others, these are real people in real situations.
Who made some mistakes.
But some of the mistakes, you know, thank God, it didn't happen to me. I could see make it. You know, if you see your mother being abused by your stepfather over and over, you've been sexually assaulted over and over, your sisters are sexually assaulted, and you killed your stepfather. Can I say I'm so glad I wasn't in that situation, but it happened.
Yeah.
And, you know, no one deserves to die, but no one deserves to be abused, you know, and you're 14 and you're going through this. So I see these stories, and it really changed my whole perception of people. You know, sometimes, unfortunately, you think that you're better than certain people because you've been dealt a better hand of cards.
Yeah.
You know, but I realized it really humbled me that, hey, it could have been me. You know, it could have been me with a drug habit parents. It could have been me that had to steal, but God's, you know, loved me enough just to see that. So I didn't take it, you know, so I didn't take advantage of those things, and to keep me humble and grateful. You know, but that was one of the best things ever, you know, because again, I learned something. I also got smarter, just street savvy, you know. It made me just a better person, but I was not one of those people who needed all the security there. I wanted to rap to the brothers. And my thing is if I was able to just bless one, you know, hopefully I did, but I know for a fact that I've touched several.
Oh, I'm sure.
Several.
And I find it fascinating. You talked about your hands and how it's almost something we take for granted because we have them. But you have created, and I'm sure have planted some seed in some of these young men that hair you've cut. And I'm sure, even from the barber perspective, we're going to get to the other side of you in just a moment, that when you step back and see that you've made somebody happy, even in such a situation as that?
Well, I mean, I call it PIES. You know, PIES stands for physical, intellectual, emotional, spiritual. You know, my mission in life is to help people with PIES. So physically, I was...
Say that again, physical...
Physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual.
Okay, I gotta remember that.
And what I wanted to do is enhance people in those ways and make it classical. Meaning that it deals with all people, all places, and all times. And God has planted that seed in me ever since I was maybe 13. So physically, yes, I wanted to style their hair or help them. Intellectually, I wanted to teach them about what I'm doing. Why am I doing it? Emotionally, I want them to feel good. And then spiritually, they know that their body is that temple. You know, take care of it. I'm helping you, and I'm giving you that one step. And we all know when we go to to your hairstylist or to your barbers, or when any type of service, you go in one way and you come out another way. And that's the whole thing, you know, and that's prophetic. That's how church is. You go in one way
and come out.
You come out another way.